Hello, good morning. My name is Jacob Mather, one of the Trauma Intensive Care Fellows at Salford Hospital. I've completed my internship in the UK, completed it last summer, so I have quite a good idea of what the process is of applying, of kind of going through it, and I've been involved with the MedPrep as well, so I'm starting to become a bit more familiar with the application process for you guys. So today, just a kind of quick overview of the things that we're going to cover. Crucially, we're going to look at the new changes for kind of this year and next year for the UK Foundation programme. We're going to talk about the application process and how you can prepare a strong application. And actually, a lot of that comes down to understanding the selection criteria that we use to kind of allocate our internships. So we're going to go into that a little bit today. We're going to talk a little bit about the pros and the cons and the kind of key benefits and challenges of the UK Foundation programme, before finishing with a Q&A session, just 5-10 minutes if you've got any burning questions, and we'll try and answer some things as well as point you in the right direction for some other resources as well that you can use. So the kind of crucial changes which we touched on in the last webinar, but also kind of for people who are new or people who need a reminder, the new allocation process essentially means that there is an equal playing field for all applicants to the UK Foundation programme. And that's true whether they've graduated from UK medical schools or whether they've graduated from international medical schools in other countries. And so what that entails is you no longer have to sit a situational judgment test. There is no longer a score allocated for performance at medical school, which it used to be used. Apply through is called Oriel. So Oriel is essentially the portal that all medical students will apply to apply for the UK internship. Everybody who's applying for the internship in the UK uses the same portal and applies through the exact same process. If you're an international doctor, you'll need to sit the UK MLA prior to working in the UK, which is the UK Medical Licensing Assessment. And if you're sitting this in order to come and work in the foundation programme, then there's a priority list set by the GMC, which means that you'll get an early opportunity to sit the exam in order to facilitate your processing your application. All this advice is available on the online portal on Oriel and on the UK Foundation Programme Office website as well, which is really, really helpful. Other things that have changed slightly for international graduates is that they no longer need a statement for the Dean of their medical school to apply. So the criteria here for that are kind of listed underneath. So I'll give you a second to read those. Yeah, absolutely. And also the English language proficiency, the criteria here is listed below. So whether or not you need what examinations you need to take or whether you need to take one at all. So it's worth just taking some time to look at those and work out which is applicable to you as an individual for your application. The application process starts a year before the foundation programme begins. So the foundation programme begins in September 2025. We need to start thinking about it in summer of 2024. And this includes even if you've not graduated medical school yet, because you can start the process rolling whilst you're still a medical student. Crucially, what you need to do is think about what you can do to make your application as good as possible. The UK Foundation Programme Office has a list of all the things that you need, and that's something that we can also, as a MedPrep, can also help you gather. If you get all of your evidence and documents in order before the application's open, it's a simple process to just upload them. The UK Foundation Programme Office has all the latest information and is updated regularly, with bulletins as well highlighting what is new on there. And it's always helpful if you ask your referees for your references, just make sure they're happy to provide them, because they will be asked for as part of the foundation programme application. So some preparation will help your application run much, much smoother. But that's also something we at the MedPrep can help you with, because our websites are frequently updated with all the latest information. We've got a lot of experience in the documents and evidence you need, and we can sort of help support you through this process. Now, the way rankings have been allocated for the foundation programme in the UK has changed in recent years. So when applying for the foundation programme or an internship in the UK, the country is split up into different regions known as units of applications. What you have to do when you're applying, once you've put all of your administrative kind of paperwork in place and you start ranking the areas, you list the areas that you want to work in. One area might be where I work, the Northwest, which includes Manchester, Liverpool, and an area called the Lake District. Or it could be London as an area, or Birmingham as an area. You rank these in terms of your preferences of where you would most want to work. And then they've changed the system this year so that an algorithm allocates people based on purely the people giving the most likely chance of getting their first choice. So people who get an offer and accepted will be allocated one of their choices, and then people who didn't get an offer will then be re-ranked afterwards. This system essentially means that people have a really, really high likelihood of getting their first choice of area within the UK. It shows here that 3/4 of people got their first choice of area. So that's much, much better than the previous year of 71%. What this means essentially is that if you apply to a foundation programme in the UK, you've got a 3 in 4 chance of being able to work in the area of the UK that you specifically want. Also relevant here is that the UK Foundation Programme Office has a number of jobs available. And last year, all eligible applicants were assigned a foundation school. So everybody got a job. So there are more foundation programme internship slots available than there are UK medical graduates. So what that means is there are designated kind of spots and spaces in the foundation programme for international doctors. So having gone through the UK Foundation Programme myself, I think it's a very, very good programme. We spoke a little bit last time in the webinar about what that entails. Essentially what it means is that you come to work in the UK at the same level and same grade as a new UK graduate. The process is all online and it's more about submitting appropriate paperwork. There is no interviews. There is no ranking systems in terms of your grades or exams or assessments or degrees previously. You put your paperwork in. Once you're confirmed as being eligible, you rank the areas you want to work in the UK, and then you will be, from there, theoretically, you can be offered a job with a 3/4 chance of getting your preferred area. So the amount you get paid varies depending on which job you're doing specifically, but as a base pay, I think the new starting salary is 32,000 English pounds. It's certainly enough money to rent a house, have a car, do things you need to do, live a proper life as a doctor, as a new intern, absolutely. The other key benefits that we need to touch on is that it's the ideal stepping stone to applying to specialty training in the UK. The idea of the UK Foundation Programme is that it provides you with a broad base of education and learning. So you'll have rotated through in your 2-year internship programme, through medicine, through surgery, through emergency medicine, through different specialties such as anaesthetics or psychiatry, and through general practice, which means your knowledge level is vastly improved hugely throughout, and it means then you're on a really good footing to apply for specialty jobs. And again, this is if you come in at the same level as the UK graduates, and then so therefore you leave at the same level as the UK graduates with the exact same chances when applying for specialty jobs and registrar jobs in specific areas of training. So the process for applying for your specialty training jobs, which is the jobs that lead you to train to be a consultant, is the same after foundation programme for all people who've completed the UK internship, absolutely. So the UK Foundation Programme is a broad base that allows you to apply for every specialty training programme in the UK. The difficulties with applying for the UK Foundation Programme is more about the administrative side of things. Crucially, you need to make sure you have all of your documents up to date and appropriately submitted in time, and we'll show you a timeline on the next slide as well. You need to make sure your referees are available to give your references because they will be asked for. You need to make sure that you're eligible. So that's things like having sat appropriate exams, having graduated at the appropriate time, and having the correct English language certification. This is something that we can help with. This slide is the crucial part, really. What this says and what this shows is the timeline of key dates of things that you need to do when applying for the UK Foundation Programme. As I said at the start, the process starts roughly a year before you want to start the foundation programme. And this can be started absolutely whilst you're still a medical student. What this essentially, this timeline shows is that the foundation program will start in August 2025. So if you start the process here in July 2024 or earlier in terms of getting all of your documents and all of your eligibility lined up, then the process is relatively straightforward. This is a really key slide for dates and processes, and it shows that there are some logistical barriers, but it's more practical, and that's something we can assist with. But it's absolutely possible and definitely doable for international doctors and medical students to apply for the UK Foundation programme, providing that they're organised and diligent. And if they need help with that, that's absolutely something we can do.
Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to us. I know there's a couple of messages in the chat, so we'll try our best to answer them. And if you've got any more, please pop them in the chat and we'll take it from there. Thank you very much.